Hi guys, welcome to my vlog 7 on the coaching process. I'm looking at improving the sprint technique of my under 18s football squad. So what I'm trying to improve on is the inefficiency of how some of the guys run. So whether that's down to poor mechanics, technique, strength, flexibility, lack of practice, or their lack of coaching. What I've done is I've decided to implement some techniques that we've learned on the MSc and also that I've learned over the years through different running coaches. So I'm looking at improving the coordination of their upper body movement and also their lower body movement. But in terms of the coaching process and how I've become a coach and how I've evolved as a coach, I'm looking at more focusing on the positive aspects of the coaching role. So areas that I've improved on personally have all come from experience, trial and error, and learning what not to do and what has worked and what hasn't worked in the past, and also what has got me the best results with these guys and how they've reacted to the way I have coached them. So, a couple of things that I've improved on and that I'd like to add to all of my sessions are having good humor as a coach. Not all the time, but there definitely is an aspect of having a certain amount of banter with the players and making sure they're enjoying themselves and having fun. Second of all, um, I'd like to I'd like to point out that good demonstrations, whether I can physically perform them or whether I can actually explain them quite well, is vital. So good demonstrations, whether they be physically shown or told and explained. Also realize that I need to repeat myself numerous times in the demonstration and obviously after the demonstration. So when the guys themselves have actually done their practice or their trial, can I correct them and repeat again what I want and what I'm expecting? I also realise that I've got to have a high expectation level of all the athletes or trainees or players that I work with. Without having a high expectation level, I don't think players or people in general will rise to the challenge. And I don't think they will improve as much as they should. And sometimes people don't realize how far they can go and how much they can improve. And for that to happen, we a lot of the time need very high expectation levels. And sometimes people exceed those expectation levels and they produce wondrous feats in terms of sport and achievement, like for instance Leicester City winning the league this season. Another thing I'd like to talk about would be the congratulation of successful achievement, which is something that I never really used to do because my expectations were so high. I had many negative comments, but I realized that I need to congratulate a lot more on successful completion of tasks that I set to players. And talking about negative comments, I think a lot of coaches tend to only focus on the negative side of their coaching. It's a big part of how they coach. They talk about the negatives all the time. I think yeah, you got to talk about negatives, but you got to more reinforce the positive aspects of certain players' performance. While talking about the negatives, whether it's positive or negative, whatever you're talking about, you've got to have a good command and voice and presence. I think that's something I also improved upon, and as you can see with some more coaching here, I talk to the guys in a very direct manner, nice, strong, loud voice. Whereas I used to be quite timid and I would stutter quite a lot. I would slur my words, or else even worse, I'd probably speak too quickly, which in my accent in a foreign country, players tend not to understand what I'm saying. So that's another aspect in terms of how we speak. Can the players or athletes understand what we're saying? So can we speak clearly? Um, Also, what I've learned is that I've got to explain to the players nothing they do is a punishment. Hard work is not a punishment. Hard work is for their improvement and for it. It's about the players themselves and it's for their benefit. And the more I stress this, the more players actually agreed or they seemed to agree, and they took on what I said. They had more belief in what I say, and they actually then their performance improved due to the fact that they were more compliant on all the tasks that I gave them. Now with this group of players, they were after 3 or 4 games they were bottom of the league. Halfway through the season, I decided to implement a lot of the things that I've learned on the MSc so far, and it has worked, and they've improved strength wise, speed wise, and I think their overall desire to do well and improve themselves as individuals and players and as a collective group. I think that's down to some of the coaching process, but their belief in what I've said and what I've learned. So thanks very much for watching. I'm just going to let the rest of this play out, and we'll have a look at my coaching techniques and how I talk to the players and how I explain things, and hopefully you guys can critique that and give me any pointers that you think I could improve upon. All right, thanks a lot.
So stretch the calf and the Achilles are stretched. As you come down, then you're contracted. All right, and spend the less time on the floor. You got that? Yeah.